Happy Tuesday. We've safely arrived. Well, we have anyway. I hope you have too, for that matter. On this Tuesday, the 21st day of April, 2026. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 54 degrees, overcast skies. Today is the transition day. As this day progresses, that ridge of high pressure that gave us the beautiful warm weather, exceptionally warm weather, over the last 2 or 3 days is going to shift off to the east. Low pressure comes in, so today makes the transition. By late in the day today, it'll be pretty cloudy, it'll be pretty windy. Could see a thunderstorm, some light rain. We're going to get a little bit of everything. The one thing we're pretty confident about is wind. Wind will be picking up. It'll be downright windy by the time the sun goes down close to 8 o'clock tonight. It's going to be windy all night tonight and pretty windy all day Wednesday. In fact, today is going to be pleasant compared to tomorrow. And then we go back to good stuff again. Forecast details are on the way, but weather is going to be active here until we get to about Thursday afternoon. News, we'll do that. Sports, we'll do that. Mariners had a lead. They couldn't hold it. The bullpen is pretty thin. We went pretty deep into the bullpen over the weekend, and so manager Dan Wilson didn't really have a lot of arms to call on last night to close the deal, and that's exactly what happened. We'll have highlights of the Mariners, talk a little prep sports as well. And today, the first of a two-part interview that I did with Kory, the superintendent of the Wenatchee School District, and Tucker Jackson, who is the president of the Wenatchee School Board. If you live in the Wenatchee School District, if you live anywhere in north central Washington, you know by now they're proposing about a $295 million bond to replace Wenatchee High School, which opened in September of 1972. It's almost as old as the high school it replaced, which was opened in 1910. And of course, they also have some infrastructure issues, specifically HVAC issues, at a number of their other schools. And so we had a chance to sit down with Kory and Tucker at the Wenatchee High School library. And then tomorrow it'll be Kory and one of the members of the architectural firm is putting together the necessary blueprints, because building high schools nowadays is a lot different than it was in the late 60s and early 70s when Wenatchee High School was built. You don't want to miss that conversation. 2 minutes after the hour, let's see what we're looking like today. And we look something like that. We hit 78 on Monday. Our normal high is 63. Yeah, it was warm. Moses Lake and Ephrata, you both got to 81 degrees. Omak got to 80 degrees. Nobody is going to be in the 80s today, and nobody's going to be even close to the 70s tomorrow as this system tracks inland. In fact, by the middle of the day today, it'll be pretty active, and by the latter part of the day today, it's going to be very active weather. A little bit of everything. Up to Billy Goat we go. Good morning to Alta Lake down there at the bottom of your screen, the Met Howe, the Columbia. That, of course, is the highest of all the PTZ cameras. That is over 7,000 feet in elevation, which is why we can see so much real estate high above Pateros up in the Okanagan County area. Let's see what Leavenworth looks like today. It usually looks pretty good, and today is no exception. That's also a pretty high camera. That's how the PTZ cameras work. The Sky-Fi system that Localtel set up many, many years ago. It's all line of sight, and if you get up there nice and high and you have a nice clean view, you're in business for wireless internet. Good morning to Leavenworth. It's a pleasure to see you and the Arundel Rock camera. Lake Antioch, sometimes referred to as the Columbia River. It's actually referred to as both. Rocky Reach Dam, Turtle Rock, Mission Ridge, off into the distance. Not some bad views at all today. They're never bad views. They're fantastic views. Just sometimes we can see more than other days. It is Tuesday. We always check in with our friends at the Climate Prediction Center. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This takes us for the last 4 days of this month. The 26th through the 30th. And as you can see on the left, we are leaning to have slightly warmer than normal temperatures and about normal precipitation, which means really not a lot. So it looks like slightly warmer and fairly dry for the end of the Apple Blossom Festival. Again, this is the 26th through the 30th of next week. We always do this on Tuesday, so it starts on Sunday, essentially. But not bad at all. In fact, once we get to day one of the Apple Blossom Festival, things are going to be pretty calm, but we've got to get there. First, from Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. As the day progresses, the clouds will be rolling in. The high pressure exits our area. Low pressure comes in and pays us a visit. It'll be here by about noon. It'll really be here by mid to late afternoon. Could see a pop-up thunderstorm because there's going to be a lot of instability in the atmosphere, but the best chance of rain is actually going to be tonight. So, and the wind will be picking up in intensity. By about 7 o'clock tonight, it's going to be cloudy and windy. The one thing we're kind of hedging our bets on is rain today, but it's probably going to rain tonight. It's also going to be very windy tonight, 52 for the overnight low. Windy all day Wednesday until the very end of the day, as the low pressure system that's tracking in begins to move back out again. So basically it's going to hang around for about 30 hours, from about noon today till about 8 o'clock or so tomorrow night. So Wednesday looks cloudy, a little rainy. In the morning we'll see some sunshine on Wednesday afternoon, but it's going to be windy all day. On Wednesday, the winds will die down Wednesday night. A little bit of residual wind on Thursday, not too much for day one of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, about 65, about normal for this time of the year. Friday, sunshine, 65. Saturday for the Technoplex Youth Parade, 67. For the high, 70 on Sunday, 70 on Monday. We've had gorgeous weather for the Apple Blossom Festival, and we've had weather that was a little dicey, but right now it's looking pretty good. Thank you, Mother Nature. Going to take a break and come back with your news. You're watching the Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether,
we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
A new video game, a movie, dinner with friends. There are a lot of things worth saving up for. Vapes aren't cheap, and buying pods over and over can stop you from affording things you want more. When it comes to your money, choose what matters. Choose you.
When life gets stressful, jumping into your passions can help you find your calm. Avoid vapes, which contain nicotine and can make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. When it comes to your mental health, choose what matters. Choose you.
Click RV Moses Lake Superstore has gone mad with huge discounts on a huge selection of top brand RVs, which means the lowest prices, factory incentives, and rebates.
You guys gotta beat the spring rush and get in here now.
Shop online and find the floor plan you like, then build it, price it, and click it. Or come to the Moses Lake Superstore. From travel trailers to fifth wheels, toy haulers to motorhomes. The huge RV discount prices are here. Get a better RV and the lowest price guarantee only at Click It RV Moses Lake or clickitrv.com.
Be a winner like me and get the Click It RV.
High clouds, it is 54 degrees. We're looking at some pretty unsettled weather once we get to the afternoon hours. The high pressure moving out, heading towards Montana. Low pressure coming in. We're going to cloud up, maybe see a little bit of rain. It's still going to be very mild today, but cloudy and windy for most of the day on Wednesday and considerably cooler. It's about 9 minutes after the hour. The East Wenatchee man who fired a handgun in the parking lot of the Wenatchee Valley Mall back in September of 2024 was sentenced in federal court to nearly 18 years in prison. 37-year-old Victor John Stevenson admitted to firing a handgun at the driver of another vehicle in the parking lot of the mall back on September 4th, 2024. It was part of an ongoing feud. Nobody was injured. Stevenson was arrested later that month with drugs in his possession. He was convicted on felony drug trafficking and firearm charges last year and was sentenced Wednesday by U.S. District Judge Rebecca Pennell to 17 and a half years in prison. As part of his sentence, he will be on supervised release for 4 years after he gets out of prison. Criminal cases against Stevenson in both Chelan and Douglas counties were dismissed to make way for the federal case. A retrial will be ordered in the case of a California man convicted of vehicular homicide in Chelan County. 52-year-old Fleming Anthony Gahan of San Jose was attempting to pass westbound traffic on Highway 2 near Coles Corner back in August of 2022 when he fatally struck an oncoming motorcycle driven by 40-year-old Shane R. Walsh. Wayne Harris, who was then the Chelan County coroner, testified at Gahan's trial and referred to a blood sample from Walsh's body that showed a blood alcohol level of 0.071%. Gahan's attorney, Brandon Riedel, said the defense was not provided that evidence before the trial and argued in a hearing last Thursday that the oversight violated his client's rights. Superior Court Judge Travis Brandt agreed with Riedel and said he would sign an order for a new trial in this case. That trial date has yet to be scheduled. The population of gray wolves in our state has reached its highest level to date. The Department of Fish and Wildlife announcing that roughly 270 wolves now range across the state, comprising 49 packs and 23 breeding pairs. That's an increase of 40 wolves, or 17%, since the 2024 count. 6 of the wolf packs are new or reestablished after declining in years prior. The agency counts wolves annually using methods like tracking collars, aerial surveys, and trail cameras. About 28 wolves died last year, including 2 that were killed while preying on livestock and 12 that were legally harvested by tribal hunters. Police in our state are falling behind in de-escalation and mental health training. It's required by the state. A report last week from the state auditor's office found just 16% of veteran officers and 14% of new officers had finished the 40 hours of training that's supposed to be done by 2028. At that rate, less than half of the state's police officers will have finished the training by the deadline that was set under Initiative 940. That's the police reform law that was approved by voters in 2018. Departments with 50% compliance gain access to a new $100 million grant program to pay for more hiring. Police advocacy groups say the process has been slow because officers have to take time away from their duties to complete the training, which reduces the number of police out on the street. The Manson School District has formed a community task force to help shape its long-range facilities plan. The task force includes 20 community members who will develop a long-range plan for district buildings over the next 25 years. The plan will identify and prioritize the district's most urgent capital needs, address current and projected enrollment and program demands, and ensure the school's learning environments support academic success. The task force had its first meeting last Wednesday. It will continue to meet over the coming months before presenting its final recommendations to the school board. And a new monument outside the Chelan County Courthouse ensures even visually impaired people can remain connected to the American flag. On Friday, the John Kendrick chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution held a dedication ceremony for a new Braille American flag that they helped bring to Wenatchee. The effort was a collaboration with the Sons of the American Legion and the American Legion Post No. 10. Speakers at the event included Ray Hale, a staff sergeant of the United States Marine Corps, who is a combat wounded blinded veteran and Purple Heart recipient, and his wife, Patricia, who both advocated to get the Braille flag here to town. We had a chance to speak with John Kendrick Chapter Regent Karen Brown after the dedication ceremony.
The idea came about in 2015, but took a while to get all the permissions and find somebody to manufacture and all. So we got that done by 2022 and turned it over to the county, who said they would do a monument, a base for it, which they have done now. We're very pleased that it's finally completed in our year of 250th anniversary of America. It was just a coincidence. It just I called to see how they're doing on it, and they said, oh, it's all installed. I went, oh, well, we need to do a dedication. So here we are. We really appreciate the American Legion and the Sons of American Legion, because they came through with the remainder of the funds we needed. These plaques are about $400 or $500. Daughters of American Revolution have 3 pillars: education, historical preservation, and patriotism. So we participate in our communities in different ways that we can support those pillars, whether it's giving scholarships with education or having kids participate in Constitution oratory contests associated to American Legion is the guys that do that. We are very patriotic oriented. we all can track our ancestry back to the American Revolution in some capacity. And we have a lot of projects we do supporting the veterans. And as Ray said, being a blinded veteran himself, and his wife, Patty Hale, was a regent of our chapter at the time. So they brought to our awareness the need for Braille flags for more and more blinded vets as they age.
We really appreciate the joining forces of the patriotic organizations of the DAR and the American Legion and the Sons of the American Legion to give this to our city and to our county and all of Central Washington. The pledge is cut out in script on the white stripes, and on the red stripes is where the pledge is put in Braille on it. And on the right side of each of the stripes, you'll notice just a single Braille configuration, I'll say. And it just is simply labeling the red and the white stripes.
And if you take the time to look at this flag, reach out and touch it. And imagine if you were blind, or you will be someday, through macular and glaucoma and things. Those are the most common eye diseases. What it'd be like to be able to still maintain contact with the greatest flag in the world. It represents freedom more than anybody.
And that is what's making news on this Tuesday. Grant is off today. Jefferson Robbins will be in the air chair. That means I get to do weather. One way or the other, check out the news anyway. You'll be glad you did. Stay in the loop. The news tonight, the NCAA Life Evening News, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10, right here on television. It's also going to be on our YouTube page. Right around 5 o'clock, we're on Roku, we're on Apple TV, we got that Amazon Fire Stick happening, we got the X, we got the Instagram, we got the Facebook, we have a song in our heart, and we have an email address, news@ncwlife.com. If you got a news tip for us. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
High school sports is back. Join us all spring for live coverage of Wenatchee and Eastmont soccer, baseball, and softball. Brought to you by our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Coverage also sponsored by Global Car Care, the Highlander Golf and Grill, Apple Valley Honda, Sangster Motors, Valley Tractor, Save Mart, Caldwell Banker, Biosports Physical Therapy, and Dick's Heating and Air. Your home for high school sports, as always, is the NCW Life channel.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
"20 minutes after the hour, the Mariners had a 3-run lead. Then they didn't. Solo home runs by Carlos Cortez, Nick Kurtz, And Shea Langoliers, the A's beat the Mariners 6-4 last night at T-Mobile Park. So with the wind, guess what? The Athletics are now in sole possession of first place in the American League West.
He shoots this into center field. Knuckling Julio reaches up, jumps backwards, and makes the catch on a Wakefield knuckleball to center field.
Oh my goodness. Look at this ball dance on Julio. The last 10 feet or so, this ball's going straight over his head and says, nope. Taking a hard left, and Julio, the athlete he is, says, no problem, I can make that play.
The 3-1 coming his way. He shoots this high and deep with authority. The opposite way, gone! Oppo blast, Cal Raleigh. Now the Mariners on the board right away.
Announce your presence with authority, Cal Raleigh. It's a new week. Time to have some fun, Cal.
One out, a runner in scoring position now. Hit hard on a hop, and it's fair. Past Kuntz and into right field. Julio scores easily. Naylor has himself a ribby double. And it's 2-0 Mariners. Canzone, deep fly. Butler turning, climbing, gone. Dom Canzone goes deep. Second home run already tonight for the Mariners.
You can see the exit velocity was about 95, but this slider gets just enough barrel. And Dom Canzone, he is big, he is strong, and he has no problem taking this hanging slider and depositing it for a fan who just missed it in the outfield, unfortunately.
Swung on, driven, out towards right center field, and Nick Kurtz has a homer. The no-fly zone just received a Nick Kurtz souvenir.
Yeah, they got to fly over.
That's the third home run of the year for Kurtz, the 7th straight game reaching base, and he has cut the Mariners' lead. Payoff pitch, well struck to center field. Julio Rodriguez on the move back, and Langoliers is added. A tied ball game in Seattle off a Shea homer. He has 7 on the season.
And this is the type of offense you start to expect from this athletic lineup. It is power-packed from top to bottom.
Muncy swings at the first pitch, a fly ball out to right. Canzone will make the catch. Soderstrom will take off. Here comes the throw, a one-hopper in. Soderstrom safe. The go-ahead run for the A's comes home on a sacrifice fly from Max Muncy. 4-3.
Max Muncy able to get this ball deep enough out into right field. Going to give Tyler Soderstrom the opportunity he needs to come on home.
2-2 ripped into right. Here comes Insurance. Wilson home, getting waved is McNeil. Canzone won't throw it towards home, and it is now 6-3 Athletics. Butler coming up big.
After the bobble, Canzone had no option.
One on, bottom of the 9th inning. Top of the order is next. Pull down the line. Fair ball. This races to the corner. Young chugs into third. He's being waved home. Cole Young steaming to the plate, and he scores standing. Leo Rivas, an RBI double.
Here's the 1-0, swung on, out to right field. Coming in is Lawrence Butler, and that will be the final out in Seattle. The Athletics mount a come-from-behind win, 6-4 the final. Dallas, they have beat the Mariners for the first time this season, and it gives them a nice chance to start this road trip out right.
It's a 3-game series, so game 2 is tonight. Louis Castillo will toe the rubber. First pitch on Mariners.com at 6:40. What the heck just happened? American League West scoreboard. The Rangers had the day off yesterday. Everybody else played. There's the Mariners losing to the Athletics. The Astros crushed the Guardians. The Blue Jays snuck by the Angels. One soccer game of note last night. They usually don't play on Mondays, but Okanagan and Chelan did. And Okanagan knocked off Chelan. The final there was 2-1 on the pitch. The rest is happening today. 4:30, Tenaska will welcome Bridgeport. 1/2 hour later, Omak has Manson coming to town. 6 o'clock for a Kai B at Cashmere. Liberty Bell at Cascade and Toppenish at Ephrata, with Quincy hosting Sela on their pitch, and Connell has Brewster coming to town. Moses Lake has West Valley at 7 o'clock, and a game we'll be televising right here on the NCAA Live channel, the Sunnyside Grizzlies and the Eastmont Wildcats. 6:45 airtime, 7 o'clock right here on the NCAA Live channel. Prep baseball schedule looks something like this. It's mostly single games, one exception, of course, Waterville, Mansfield, and Odessa. And whenever those two baseball programs get together, you can just throw the records right out the window. Moses Lake in a single game against Davis at 4 o'clock. Ephrata takes the long trip to Quincy. 4:30 there. First pitch for Okanagan and Lake Roosevelt, 4:30. Liberty Bell at Brewster at 4:30. Sunnyside will be at Eastmont for a single game at 5 o'clock. Prep softball, there was some action yesterday. Chelan rolled over Omak, 16-1. Manson swept Bridgeport in their doubleheader, 18-3 and 23-7. Eisenhower will be at Wenatchee's beautiful new ballpark at 4 o'clock for a doubleheader. Okanagan will be at Lake Roosevelt at 4:30, and the Liberty Bell girls softball team will be in Brewster at 4:30. We'll have scores of all of those tomorrow, provided I remember to do it. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy National Kindergarten Day today. It's on April 21st because the guy who came up with the idea of kindergarten was born on April 21st. His name was Friedrich Wilhelm August Froebel. And back in 1837, he came up with something before first grade. He called it kindergarten, and kindergarten is now, well, pretty much everywhere. 34 states in this country offer half-day kindergarten. 11 states, plus our nation's capital, require full-day kindergarten. 19 states require that the kindergartner need to be 5 years old by September 1st. In order to enroll, then you begin your formal public or private schooling over the next 13 years after this. The average salary for a kindergarten teacher in this country isn't real good. It's about $55,000, give or take a couple. 5 states do not require kindergarten. Now they offer it, but you're not required to go to kindergarten. Those are Alaska, Idaho, New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. They say everything I learned in kindergarten. Wasn't that a bestseller book a long time ago? So happy National Kindergarten Day today. I love kindergarten. I loved it so much I did it 3 times. Today in history, we've all seen this photo, the famous photo of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. The famous photo that you see there was printed in the Daily Mail in London on this date in 1934. 92 years ago today, and everybody swallowed it, pardon the pun, hook, line, and sinker. Well, in 1994, about 32 years ago, it was revealed to be a hoax. They made the whole thing up. It was just a piece of cardboard about 12 inches high, and they stuck it out there and took a grainy picture and called it good. But people believed it. It's not there. Sorry, I don't want to burst your bubble. One of the reasons that the United States military, specifically the Air Force, loves to fly all over the western United States because the air traffic is not much. Well, after a series of near misses and mid-air collisions between civilian aircraft and military aircrafts, this was the one that finally made everybody sit up and go, we probably should do something about this. 1958 was the year United Airlines Flight 736 collides head-on with the United States Air Force fighter jet. It was a beautiful, clear day. They just simply didn't see each other. As you might imagine, the Air Force fighter jet was flying considerably faster than the passenger jet was. The two collided. Down they go over Enterprise, Nevada. Flight patterns, flight schedules, flights involving military aircraft and civilian aircraft were not coordinated at that time. The military didn't want to tell civilians what they were doing up there with their top secret fighter jets, but finally enough was enough. And 4 months after this airplane, this mid-air collision, the Federal Aviation Act of 1958 was signed into law, which replaced the Civil Air Administration with the Federal Aviation Administration. And that act in 1958 gave the FAA absolute total authority over the control of American airspace, both civilian and military. And then in 1994, the military got that revoked so they could control their own air flight without telling the commercial people again, and the mid-air collisions started again. But, well, there you go. Whatever happened to World's Fairs? Remember, they used to be huge. They used to be huge. The New York World's Fair in '64, Montreal in '67, Knoxville in '82, I don't know. The Seattle World's Fair Century 21 Exposition opened its doors April 21st, 1962. Here's a really cheesy 1-minute video.
You'd better skedaddle to Seattle for the fair. Everyone will be there, breathing in the sea air. The future is there for us, we'll take a peek and see a glimpse of the next century, revealing space age mystery. Easy to jet to and so nice to get to, the people are friendly and gay. You'll be so thankful when you fill your tank full and head out Seattle way. You better skedaddle to Seattle, do you hear? The whole world is planning to come and examine the fair in Seattle this year.
Yeah, the Seattle World's Fair. The idea was to put Seattle on the international map. It worked. And by the way, it's one of the very few World's Fair made a profit. That was back in 1962. And finally, the 1980 Boston Marathon. What an upset. Rosie Ruiz wins the women's division of the Boston Marathon on this date 46 years ago. It was a record time. 2 hours and 32 minutes. It was a rather incredible feat. And then people went, wait a minute, for somebody who just ran 26 miles, she's not sweating a lot. She seems to be doing just fine. But nobody could remember her actually starting the race, just finishing the race. The runners said, we never saw her. Spectators said, we never saw her, at least for the first 25 miles. She said, no, of course I won. Of course I won. And then witnesses came forward a couple of days later and said, we actually saw her. She snuck under the ropes and ran out onto the course, and the jig was up. And the funny thing is, she qualified for the 1980 Boston Marathon by finishing high enough in the women's division of the 1979 New York City Marathon. And so those officials went back and looked at the 1979 New York City Marathon, where Rosie Ruiz finished 24th, which was remarkable. And they discovered that she started the New York City Marathon, and then once they got over the bridge from Staten Island into Brooklyn, she took a subway to Central Park, to Central Park, and then waited and snuck onto the course that way. You're going to get caught, all right? It's as simple as that. Birthdays. Why this manager does not get the respect he deserves is beyond me. He is the winningest manager in Major League Baseball history. Mars Joe McCarthy, born in the state in 1887. His regular season winning percentage, .615. Best all time. His postseason winning percentage, .698. Best all time. He was the first manager to win pennants in both the National League with the Chicago Cubs and then a bunch of them with the Yankees in the American League in the 1930s and 40s. He won 8 pennants and 7 world championships with the Yankees. He's in the Hall of Fame. He is most famous for his 10 commandments of baseball. Among them, you will never hit 300 with the bat on your shoulder. Always run them out. You never can tell. Never, ever quit. Try not to fault the umpires too much. They're not as good as you are. And a pitcher who doesn't have control doesn't have anything. In my opinion, the greatest baseball manager of all time, Joe McCarthy. And she was born 100 years ago today. Elizabeth II. She reigned over Great Britain and the British Empire for 70 years and 214 days. The longest lived and longest reigning British monarch in history, and the longest serving female head of state in history. Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty, would have been 100 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our brand new, well, they're not. They've been our platinum sponsor for a long time now. So thanks. They have a new logo, but their service is still the same. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Mike Minotti has got an opinion, and then the first of a two-part interview as we start talking about what's going to be on your ballot in November of this year if you live in the Wenatchee School District. Kory Kalahar is the superintendent of the Wenatchee School District, and Tucker Jackson is the president of the school board. Guess what we're talking about? You'll find out in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services, including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I believe there are a number of private and charter schools in our area. Actually, one of my grandkids goes to one. And I remember when this particular school and the others started, they did so without justifying the creation of their school by spreading false information and outright lies about the public school system and our current school board. I mean, why should they? People, you can start at school if you want to. Yeah, nobody's stopping you. So why should any local organization have to resort to mudslinging and the outright spreading of lies and disinformation to justify their doing so? Well, you know, this is why. It's a common fascist tactic. Yeah, that's the word, fascist. If you want like-minded people to support your project financially, you create a mutual enemy. Yep. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the Diagnostic Doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Welcome back to the program. We are in the library of Wenatchee High School, the 54-year-old Wenatchee High School, which replaced the 60-year-old Wenatchee High School. So you do the math. The old Wenatchee High School opened in 1910, closed in 1972. The high school we're in now opened in 1972. It's still open 54 years later. The taxpayers in the Wenatchee School District got 2 high schools for 116 years. Pretty good deal, but it's time for high school number 3. Joining me to my immediate left is Kory Kalahar, making his very first appearance on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And you brought a friend with you, the president of the school board.
President of the school board.
Introduce Tucker.
Yeah, this is Tucker Jackson, and he's a president of the school board. He's been on the school board for 3 years. And when he joined the school board, he had a lot of interests and ideas that he wanted to share, but running a school bond for a new high school was one of the foremost, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that having young kids in the district and coming here for athletic events, seeing how much the community engages the school, and then once I'm on the school board, meeting with people for the facility committee meeting, and then now with the design meeting, we've had a lot of conversations with how big a need there is. And it's like kind of, really, as like I said, a parent with young kids, reaffirmed that we are due.
Well, 8 years ago we tried, by we I mean a bunch of people whose hearts were in the right place. They floated a $120 million deal, Kory, which wasn't even to build a new high school, it was just to fix what was broken.
Correct.
That was 8 years ago, almost passed, 57%.
Yes.
Didn't quite get to that 60% supermajority. That was 8 years ago, it's now 8 years later. And the only thing that's changed is it's now 8 years later,
right?
And the problems are even more acute than they were then.
The problems are more acute than they were then, and the cost of construction has gone up exponentially since then through the pandemic and where we are right now. And so the need is still there, and what our students deserve as learners and 21st century learners is still here as well. And I think it's time to do right by our students and to have this bond go out in November.
This was a state-of-the-art high school when it opened in September of 1972. That's 54 years ago, and even if this thing passes come November, it's still going to take 3.5, 4 years to build it. So
correct.
Is that something that people with kids in the district who are in elementary school or maybe just beginning their middle school years, they're going to understand that by the time that their kids make it to the high school level and come to Wenatchee High School, they're going to be going to a building that was built when Nixon was president?
Correct.
Does that message get through to the parents?
I think it does, and I think what we're trying to do with our messaging and our communication is we are trying to meet people where they are, and try to break through all of the different noise that's out there, and let people really understand that everyone that enters the Wenatchee School District in some capacity will come through Wenatchee High School, and this is where all the feeder schools end, all of our elementary schools, all all of our middle schools. They end here at Wenatchee High School. We do have 300 students that will make their way to Westside at some point too, but this is it. This is the premier secondary educational facility in the Wenatchee School District, and I think we do have a lot of support in that world and in those conversations. What do you think about that?
Well, and I would say, like, having talked to a lot of parents, they are aware that there is a push to improve the high school, and when that conversation starts, it's what's wrong with the high school, and then every time they have an interaction with the high school, they say, oh, that's what's wrong with the high school, and it's a laundry list. There's not one thing, but it's kind of consistent that people are hearing that there's a need.
Well, the most essential need is the guts of the joint.
Yeah.
It's simply falling apart. The stuff that people don't see. People drive by Wenatchee High School, they say, it looks fine to me.
Yeah.
Or they go to, for the public, just the general public, their interaction with the high school being in the campus, in the building, is either the auditorium to see a performance, in the athletic facilities, in the gym to see volleyball or basketball or whatever, or maybe in the commons for like when the Golden Apple Marching Band does their big fundraiser every year around the holidays, and all they can see is high school looks fine to me. It's not. It's the cosmetic stuff may look fine, but that's not the problem, is it?
Absolutely, no, it's not the problem at all. I mean, we're talking about all of the HVAC equipment, which I do think that our community is aware of and knows and understands, and we're getting to that season right now as we start getting a little bit warmer. It's a little bit starting to get warm outside, I'll say that again, and we think about turning on the air conditioning, and we're wondering which 2 or 3 compressors are not going to work this year, and got a team that maintains everything really well, but it's just end of life, and a lot of the parts are hard to find, and our team ends up fabricating things, or we have to end up buying entire new compressors for the work. And that's not even talking about the plumbing that is embedded and encased in concrete throughout the building, and all the wiring that is in different phases of cinder block and brick high school. It's just really challenging to remodel a building this old.
It's not easy for a student to come home and say, boy, class was great today, except it was 85 degrees and I could hear everybody in the classroom next door, which is a daily occurrence around here, isn't it, Tucker?
Yeah, for sure. And we're starting to see that happening in the middle schools and the elementary schools as well. Yeah. So the other reminder to the community is that this isn't just a new high school. This is also new HVAC systems at all 3 middle schools and 4 of the elementary schools.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to address that problem across the district.
At least those schools have been, for the most part, retrofitted. You were kind of, and we'll talk to our friends at Intergress here in a little bit in the second part of this interview, because of what you mentioned, like the plumbing, for instance. Yeah. There's only so much fixing you can do because the way it was originally, the conduits were run and stuff like that. You're trying to heat and air condition a building that's 12 acres in size.
Yeah.
It's massive. I don't care how good it is. It's eventually going to wear out.
Absolutely.
And this is the built. There's only so much fixing you can do.
Absolutely. And the point that comes to my mind when you say that is the type of heat that we dealt with in the Wenatchee Valley in the 70s is very different than the type of heat that we feel and experience now in 2026 and 27. We also know that the wildfire smoke is a lot different as well, and that hit us hard in the fall, where myself and Eric Anderson are in here putting together fans with filters taped to them from the health district last year, and we had them lined up in every hallway, and we were able to mitigate the smoke so we can keep students at school and make sure that the school is safe. But it was a challenge, and it was a nightmare to do. We have plans that we can put together in the future to implement that again, but it just is not the right thing to be doing.
No school district budgets for air purifiers.
No, sure does. No,
but nowadays you kind of have to.
You kind of have to. Yeah.
But all of this can be addressed with the new high school, and most importantly, a clean slate.
Yeah.
Which was one of the things that made this school such a groundbreaking campus and school back in the early 1970s when it was built. It was like state-of-the-art everything because they had a clean slate to start with. Yep. Now you get a clean slate to start with. You brought in some professionals, and the most important thing is the community stakeholders, which is everybody.
Yep.
Who's kidding who, whether you have a kid who goes here or not, you're a stakeholder. Everybody gets a say in what they want to see.
Absolutely.
And how they want it done.
And that's kind of where we are right now, Dan. We're in that community engagement piece. We spent 15 months and 9 meetings with our long-range facilities planning committee, which President Jackson was on. We were appreciative of his time. And that team really decided that the difference between building new and a deep remodel were roughly the same the same cost. And we have this real estate that is available. Why don't we start with that clean slate? Why don't we start new and give our students a true 21st century learning experience? And now we're in that community engagement piece where we want to hear everyone's voice. Everyone's voice is important. Last night we had an open house. It was a great event, and we had people there that were in favor of moving forward with the new high school, and some folks that wanted to learn more. And I really appreciated, they thanked us for hosting it, and they said, I don't feel like I can truly speak to it until I learn what I need to know about the building. And that was a fantastic message.
Sunday, by the way, April 26th, from 2 to 4 is going to be another open house. Just show up and see some of the stuff that you and the general public probably aren't privy to be seeing, because this is the stuff that you need to see to understand the need. And the need is urgent. I mean, we mentioned this before, and Tucker, you can address this. Even if this thing passes in November, and I hope it does, I'm not actually, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to vote yes. It's still going to take a long time to do this. In the meantime, you still have to address the issues.
Right.
I mean, you could break ground tomorrow, and you still don't have a new high school for 3.5 years. That kind of deal.
Right. And I think that talking with Stephen at Integris, there are options for ways that we can phase the building to not have a significant impact on the students, but get them in sooner than into like a classroom space sooner than the 4 years you mentioned. Obviously, we've all dealt with construction projects. That timeline can be sometimes a little flexible, but I think there's some good plans on how we can keep people in this building and safe and learning, and then phase them into the new building as it is developed.
Well, somebody, I didn't have any role in it, I was a kid, somebody had the wherewithal to say, let's buy 34 acres. This is a 34-acre campus, which means a new high school can be built adjacent to the old high school, and it makes that much smoother. So the folks at Integris at least say, at least we know we don't have to go out and buy land.
Exactly.
The land's already here.
Yes, it's beautiful. And hopefully we can keep the student experience consistent while we are building the new building. That's our goal.
We're going to be talking to your friend at Integris here in just a little bit. How do they end up on your radar to bring these experts in for this?
Well, we go through a process in the district where we vet a variety of architects, and they submit qualifications, and we go through an interview process. And Integris came with great recommendations, and they have a wonderful package. The thing that we were excited about the most is what's happening right now is their strong background with building communities and listening to what the community has to say, because we know that it's important that the students have the right learning experience, but we also know that this is a community hub, and we need people's input to make sure that we still have a 1,000-seat auditorium, and we still have gyms that can open up on either side to support both Wenatchee and Eastmont when we have the Battle of the Bridges games. And this is, we want to continue kind of that tradition of having Wenatchee High School be the hub.
It's a $295 million bond. It's actually a little bit more than that. But when you throw in the state matching funds and a few other odds and ends, $295 million is going to buy the folks in the Wenatchee School District a brand new high school, new HVAC, as you mentioned at Orchard
Pioneer, Foothills, Mission View, Lincoln, Lewis and Clark, and Newberry.
This has been an incredibly very good. This has been this guy should be
he should be the president of the board.
He should be the president of the board. I don't want to close on a negative note, but I have to address this. It's the worst case. What if this doesn't pass on November 3rd? What do you just? Okay, well, here we go again. Lance, come back to work. We got to fix the air.
Right.
I mean, what do we do?
Well, I think the most immediate action from the school district is we would take all the feedback that we had garnered from the campaign that will really ramp up in the fall, and then we need to come back out to our voters with maybe a slightly modified package. But we need to do that quickly, and we have to make sure that we continue to listen to the community and do what's right by them. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add, Tucker?
Well, I would say that when we did the facility committee meeting, there were a lot of different perspectives coming into that conversation, and by the end, everyone was unanimous. We need a new high school.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different things that we're going to have to find out, like you said, if we don't pass the bond. But I think we're going to have to come back with some solution to a long-term solution to this high school problem.
Absolutely.
There's only so much duct tape and baling wire out there, and who's kidding who? I can tell you from a personal experience, going to what was for me a pretty new high school back in the early 1980s, it makes a difference. It does. It makes a difference.
Learning environments do matter, And we really have, that's the great thing that we're taking a lot of feedback from our students as well, because they're the people that are in the building each and every day, and they're the people that are being assessed, and they're doing the learning, and it's been great feedback. They are so good at this work, and we just appreciate what they bring to the table. In fact, after this, we're going to meet with about 25 students here at Wenatchee High School and garner some more feedback. So thanks for the time, Dan.
Yeah, perfect story. I mean, I'm 61 years old. When I was in high school here in the early 80s, I'll tell you this real quickly before we cut you loose and talk to our other friends. The other kids would come in for basketball or whatever it would be from the other schools in the Columbia Basin Big Nine, and they would go, "This is a cool place," and we were proud of it. We took a great deal of pride in being in a new high school, and the class of 2030 should take pride, or 32 or 33 should take pride that they got to graduate from a new high school.
Well said.
Yes,
cool.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break, and then we'll have another part of this conversation with the people who are going to get into it. Talked about, real quickly, who am I going to be talking to in the second half?
Stephen Clark with Integris.
Integris, thank you, Integris.
Yeah.
He has integrity, I'm told.
Yes.
And we'll do that right around the corner.
Community is more than just a place. It's the people, stories, and connections we share. At the Wenatchee World, we're your neighbors, your storytellers, and your trusted voice. From uncovering the issues that matter most to celebrating the moments that bring us together. We deliver the stories that keep the community moving forward. The Wenatchee World, your community voice, here every day.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life Channel.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Fairly cloudy. It's 55 degrees. We're still under the influence of that high pressure ridge, which brought in, it kind of circulated all that warm air from California and Oregon and sent it right up in our direction Saturday, Sunday, yesterday. Still going to be hanging around today, but as the day progresses, a low ridge is going to smash into that thing and get it on out of here. So today is really going to be a transition day weather-wise. But before we get to the details of what Mother Nature has in store, quick shop talk. We got high school soccer tonight. Sunnyside Grizzlies heading on up to Wildcat Stadium to take on the Eastmont Wildcats. This will be a pretty good match. 6:45 airtime. 7 o'clock is when the match starts if you can't make it to Wildcat Stadium. And we always encourage people to go see it in person. You can watch it right here on TV. Joe Geddes will have the color, and my good buddy John Connor will be handling the play-by-play. Sebastian Moraga has the night off. And then, of course, on Saturday, the Technoplex Youth Parade. Our cameras will be at our normal location that we've been for the last number of years, right across Orondo from the Chelan County Courthouse. We will be there. 11 o'clock is when the parade starts. 11 o'clock is when our broadcast starts, because it takes about 15 minutes or so for the parade to get from where it starts up at Triangle Park down to our location right outside the Chelan County Courthouse. So we're looking forward to that. If you can't make it to the parade, the Technoplex Youth Parade, you can watch it right here on the NCW Life channel. All right, from the National Weather Service, here we go. we got some changes coming. By the time we get to about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, we're talking maybe a little bit of rain. Could even see a pop-up thunderstorm. There's going to be a lot of instability as one system collides with the other. Still going to be very mild, 76 degrees. Then we talk about rain tonight and a lot of wind too. Very windy tonight. Overnight low of about 52, and look at the difference between today and tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, rain and wind. Tomorrow afternoon, just plain windy. That's it for us. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.